Far away from the stock market. Away from drugs. Mind returns to May 2004. Faro as the leadership of IHA Finance. I was invited to go to the summit. This summit is held at Beijing Friendship Hotel. The spring of Beijing at that time was bright. What will a hotel open? At that time, a celebrity was hot in the international capital market. And that person often goes like a fairy. That person's name is Warren Buffett. God of US stock market value investment. Buffett was not avoided at the beginning of the 21st century. Facing the big wave of globalization. It is also a powerful driving force for President Clinton to pull Beijing into the Western camp. Buffett also thinks China belongs to Diligence Village. China replaces the United States to become the world's largest economy. Refers to the corner. So Buffett sent his partner at the time. His global spokesperson is Mills Robert to the top preheating thermal field in China. His seminar only invited various top companies in the field of financial capital to come to participate. Also use today's words. They are all head companies to participate. What do you do? Let me talk about Buffett's value investment theory. Established China Buffett Investment Fund in China. Special investment in his shares. This is the time of the spring of 244 years. A Buffett's important action decision. I am the representative of this seminar. Later, I told Zhai Fuqi about this. He remembers. Then he became his story. Well. Add oil and vinegar. Become Buffett to China and ask him to dinner. In fact, Mills Robert has never invited us to eat. They will leave after the meeting will be completed. Why do I talk about this history? It's because of all the problems encountered today in the stock market. In 2004, the thoughts were destined to return to 2004 years in 4 years. The price of the Chinese stock market is about 1,400 points. That is, the Chinese stock market returned to the height of 1992. 12 years in the golden period of reform and opening up. 1992 to 200 times. China's stock market not only doubles. Instead, everything is raising the price. Everything is prosperous. Only the stock market is not ahead. Where must it be wrong? What happened? Of course, Buffett does not know that Buffett took for granted that the Chinese stock market, Vietnamese stock market, the Indian stock market is the same. So Buffett felt that the Chinese stock market was at a historical upper. So he sent his global partner Mills Robert to China to make money to build a fund. Try to seize the half of the Chinese stock market. At that time, his Chinese translation was called Mills Robert. We were not closed in English at that time. We thought he read Mills. I estimate the Chinese translation also thinks that he read Mills. So all the introductory materials for him are written in me Mills Robert to expand reading search miles. No. This person is still active in the US capital market to this day. This person was very young at the time. Come to Beijing. That's his first stop. A large group of managers sitting on public equity funds in the audience. About 10,080 people spit lotus flowers at the small conference hall of the Friendship Hotel. Talking about Buffett's value investment theory. What we listen to is not entered into the show. What is? Because we have already cooked Buffett's value investment theory in the chest. But what happened in China? He didn't know. What he knows is that we are almost gone. So he thinks we are all a group of fools there for class for us. After speaking, everyone gives half a minute to ask questions in half a minute. What does half a minute mean? Half a minute. You don't need to ask questions at all. 30 seconds. What questions can you ask? I was at the end of the moment when I was under the bottom. I will use the draft of the conference room of the friendly hotel. The ballpoint pen posted with a ballpoint pen temporarily wrote a few large words for him. Can't take half a minute. My question is, Mr. Robert. Your speech. I listen. I feel very moved. Can you understand what you mean on this paper? He glanced at. He said, I don't know. Although my English was not good at the time. But I still understand this sentence. He fell into a sleeve. My boss and your name are written on this paper. But I am writing in the traditional way of writing familiar to Chinese people. When I talk about the traditional Chinese way of Chinese people, all Chinese people present are clearly understand. Why add an app? Because the first paper I wrote at the time. 20-4 letters or worse. So I added a dark flower. Just 20-5 letters. Applause thunderous. Robert is still stuck. Because all Chinese people here know how to read. Only he is like a fool. At this time he was a fool. He doesn't know how to read at all. I took advantage of his childhood. I said that this is what you feel about today. I am talking about English. I thought you should be able to understand. But you don't understand me. Because I clearly write English. Why is every letter in English? Why? You can't understand your own name. It is because the English I understand is understood in our Chinese traditional way. And the English you understand is understood in the way you Americans is pure English. So although we write all English, everyone thinks that the other party can understand. But completely different things are completely chickens and ducks talk. We copy the US stock market. We copy every element in the US stock market. All concepts seen by Chinese stocks. All nouns. All concepts are all the corresponding elements of the US stock market. But we are built according to the traditional Chinese thinking of Chinese people. So you can't understand it too. I can't understand it too. I thought you can understand. But you don't understand at all. This is the problem. What is our traditional thinking? We have experienced the feudal dynasty reincarnation of 5,000 years on this land. So all our brains are formatted by this concept. The things we have copied are different. Through this problem, suddenly, I grabbed the initiative and discourse rights on the venue at the time. I want to tell him. The level of people in China's capital market is not lower than Buffett. But the reason why we fail. Buffett succeed. Not because we are stupid. It's because there are problems in this market. Ask. Even if we are institutional investors, we still can't make money. Why? Because the biggest problem of China's stock market at that time was the issue of equity division. At that time, there was no equity separation. The division of equity was the noun widely used at that time. Back. What is equity splitting? Preparation of the beginning of the stock market design. The purpose is to solve the money of the state-owned enterprise out of trouble. It is simply serving a state-owned enterprise. These large state-owned enterprises are all 100% public ownership. The political power of the stock market. If public ownership enterprises are listed, sell the stock to the individual. Will it cause the loss of state-owned assets? Will it cause de facto privatization? If Chinese state-owned enterprises have become privatized enterprises. In order to bet on state-owned assets, this mouth was given to the private capitalist. They make all Chinese IPOs, all add new stock IPOs. You know the IPO of the Western capital market. Some are issued old stocks. It's if my company. Suppose there are 10,000 shares. I may take out 3,000 of them to sell in the IPO market. My original shareholders only need 7,000 shares. 3,000 old shares are sold to everyone. This is a model. There is another model that I am also 10,000 shares. But what about me? I don't sell me in my hands. This 10,000 new shares have been added to you. In this case, after I went on the market, the total share capital of IPO has become 13,000 shares. In these two models, there are only the second type of China's stock market without the first. It is to solve the problem of the loss of state-owned assets. At that time, this hat called the loss of state-owned assets. Speaking back, talking about the birth of the Chinese stock market. It has become the only new shares issued on the shares on the Chinese stock market in circulation. And the original old shares will not circulate. Because don't be lost in state-owned assets. So don't we be lost if we don't circulate? So the stock market was born. But the blooming stock market is half-body. Natural half-body. Because your company's stock value should be the same. Then you have no circulation of 75%. It is your original stock without circulation. The words increased by 25%. You are circulating. Make your company's same stocks at different prices. Every listed company has become a natural and two stocks. A kind of circulating stock. It trades and sells on the CCEA shares. Is the A shares we are familiar with? The other part is called non-exchanges stock, also known as state-owned shares, or called French shares. It is inseparable. Later, the purchase demand for state-owned shares and legal person stock. Because sometimes you want to control a listed company. Increase your shareholding ratio. You have to buy legal person stocks or state-owned shares. Therefore, you can imagine today, the price of the stock market in the market must be far lower than the gold in the Shanghai and Shenzhen A shares. Is the market circulation price worse? The most difference is 67 times the 20 yuan, $20. A normal phenomenon of $3 here. This state when Buffett's spokesperson came to China. At this time, if you are the owner of a listed company, will you be willing to make the company's performance? You won't. Do you want to make the company steaming and flourish? You don't want to do the company's performance to do it. The company is booming. Performance reflection. Rising in circulation stocks. The price of your legal person's stock has not risen. You are chairman. Major shareholder. There is no interest in it. On the contrary, you will feel that you keep your state-owned shares. The group company of the legal person shall not be listed. You treat the listed company as a rake for money. Then after the money is circled, soon steadily receiving the pocket of your group company. Your group company is your real interests. love is the main body of its own. The butt determines the head. All major shareholders. All the controllers but is sitting on the group company and sitting on the big shareholders' legal person stock. It is not the same as you're a shareholder at all. With you, if you Buffett. I don't even know what you came to China. Can you get better than shareholders? So after I finish this, Robert will never invite me to go again in the future. This is reality. He has been here a few more times. Never received an invitation letter. Because he thinks I am smashing the field. Actually, I don't remember to like it.